gonna test it. Okay, so again, part D, what are we gonna do in part D is control our buttons. So we have lots of feature and we're keeping adding more, right? So there's group of buttons now you have after you got C done to control the movement, the color, the pen style, and you probably want to group this, right? If you want to change the grouping, feel free to do that. You know, or that you have to do is change this this links, right? So you have these buttons, say pen style, and then you have 4 buttons as 4 different links. If you were to switch the order, if you were to move them from group to group, you're okay. Now, what we want to do is to be able to fit more tools in here, right? If you're gonna fit more tools in here, it's gonna get really cramped, and that's why the idea is to get them into groups, and then we're gonna use the button to show and hide. So it's only showing you one group of time, so that each group you can potentially use all the areas in here, so you can switch in between. So we're gonna have a button here on the top. You click on it, it's gonna be switching in between through the 3 different groups of button, and same with the ones on the right hand side. So a second button on the top, you press on it, and then it's gonna switch in between tools. All right, so that's the idea. How do we go about doing that? Okay, how do we do that is we're gonna set up so-called span. Span, it's pretty much useless, except for it will let us control an area. It doesn't really do anything. It just say from here to here, this is the span. It does not make next line or anything. So I'm gonna show you how could we so here's showing you two setup code. You want to have a look at this? Yes, have a look. So this is your original code. We have all the links. Okay, then we're gonna add span. What do I mean add span? So if I want this to be a group, I just put star span and span. If I want this to be a second group, I'll go star span and span, and this to be the third group, star span and span, right? And then we're gonna add IDs to the span. So each span will have an ID. Each span will have an ID, so on and so forth. I'll go ahead and do that. Right, so this is what it looks like right now, all the buttons. And I am going to just do it to the left group. You would do it to the right hand side group as well. So I'm gonna be adding span. So I would say this is my first group. Just the forward and go into the picture. I may not need some of this, so it's just called span. Not the span that you get email spam, it's span, but span is a like. Okay, so that's my first group. Okay, and this is my second group. Again, span, star span and span. I'm gonna put the pen styles in here. All right, and the others is gonna go to another span. All right, that's how you do it. Now, by doing that, I save it. It does absolutely nothing, as if nothing changed. Wait for it. Okay, wait for it. I'm gonna close this thing that we don't need. All right, so in here, what do we have in here? All right, so we add the spans. Now we need to add ID, right? So according to this, you can refer to this. We're gonna add ID. I'm gonna stick to the ID name in here, group 1, group 2, group 3. Sure, why not? I'm gonna call this span with an ID. Group 1, it may not be the same as the example, but just to show you. ID, group 2. If I want to, I could just copy this and paste and just change the number. I think it's easier that way. Group 1, group 2, group 3. All right. And what does that do? That will help you to hide and show. This is CSS. We'll be learning CSS pretty soon. but you can use CSS directly in HTML tag to make it hidden, right? So it's called style with the display property being none, right? So I'm going to show you how that works. So currently, look, we have everything there. Okay, I'm going to hide the first part. So under movement, I'm going to call this style. Watch for it. Style display colon none. So when I do this and I save and refresh, notice that that section disappeared. Do you see that? That section is now disappeared. Now, I could also control that through JavaScript. Let me show you how to do that. Now, if I were to remove the none, it's gonna reappear. Okay. If I were to control through JavaScript, this is how it works. More tool, developer tool, and first I need to refer to the ID. So group one. So I'm referring to group one. What is group one? Well, group one is that span. You see that being highlighted? Yes, that span is being highlighted. If I go group one dot display, then it's undefined, but I can say, let's get that to none. I think that's gonna hide it. Oopsie. I think I need to put a quotation in there. Group one. Let me see what the syntax here. I may have put in wrong syntax. Oh, style. I gotta say style. Sorry about that, because it's inside the style tag. That's right. Group one dot style. That's gonna refer to all its CSS styles. Now within the CSS style, there's something called display. There's something. All these are CSS style. I can use JavaScript to change all the CSS styles that is listed here. But anyways, again, group one is referring to the entire group. Group one dot style is referring to its JavaScript dot display. If I do that, it's going to tell me that it's currently nothing, but I can set the value to none, and off it goes. Okay, I can also hide the second group. I can also hide the third group, and they are all gone. Okay, I can also call them back, call the third group back, call the second group back, call the first group back if I wanted to. All right, so the idea is not to run this scripting, but to have a button when I click on it, it does this scripting so that it hides and shows one at a time. You got the idea? All right, so let me show you the code for that. The code for that is here. You already have a function. This only controls 2 groups now. So if you want to control 3 groups, you do have to add a third one in. So I could test this out. I know this works for sure. I have a variable called active group. This is going to go to your JavaScript. So this is keeping track of which group it's on right now. And then what you want to do is you want to turn off the rest. You want to turn off all the groups that it's being controlled. And then depending on if it's currently 1 on, you want to switch to 2 on, and then you want to show the second one. Alternatively, it's currently 2 on. You want to switch the label to 1 on, and then you turn the 1 on. Right? So that's kind of the logic. So go and try that, and that's going to be attached to a button, right? So you may want to have a switch group 1 and switch group 2 for the left and the right, or switch group left, switch group right. Anyways, you have the code there. Go and give it a shot, and let me know if you need help with that. Okay, thank you.